A school nursing shortage has some nurses traveling to multiple schools each day. I'm Christina Salerno. We'll follow a registered nurse as she makes her rounds, providing care from everything from a sore throat to scrapes and nutritional guidance.
Kindergarten students at one Northern California school have not one teacher, but two. The second just happens to be a canine. I'm Sarah Gardner. Meet a service dog that's a classroom fixture, helping the students right alongside his owner.
Should schools be responsible for teaching good character? I'm Jim Fitterty. We visit the Downey School District, where character traits like respect and caring are taught right alongside math and English. It's all coming up on Inside California Education.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.
Thanks for joining us on Inside California Education. Gone are the days of the school nurse who stayed on campus all day tending to cuts and fevers. Here in California, a nursing shortage means that nurses must often travel from school to school providing services. Nurse Sherry Vitale let us follow her for a day to show us how the shortage affects children throughout the Golden State and how her role is changing. The sun is barely up in San Joaquin County as the assembly room at Team Charter School springs to life. Patients are already lining up down the hall to see Nurse Sherry.
Oh, what's this Band-Aid from?
That's a Band-Aid because I got a paper cut.
Oh.
As a registered nurse, Sherry Vitale is trained to handle everything from infectious diseases to emergency care. Her prognosis, this owie just needs some TLC.
My mom just said put lotion on it.
I can give you some hand sanitizer. You want to try that?
Seconds later, this first grader is back in action.
So rub that real good.
I'm going back to the North Pole.
Okay, let's go.
Cuts and scrapes are a dime a dozen around here.
One ice pack left. Were you at recess or at PE? Here you go, my dear. You can take that back out, okay?
But as more kids stream in, it becomes clear that Sherry has a bigger, more important role to play. The responsibility she shoulders is immense.
You say, ah. You have to look at the whole child, because it's fine to have a student sitting in the seat and say, okay, we want you to write this paragraph, we want you to solve this equation, but you might not know what the student is bringing with them. No?
There's not a really good awareness among educators of what a school nurse does or of what health in a school looks like. People tend to think of the nurse as the person who puts on Band-Aids on a skinned knee, and anybody can put a Band-Aid on.
While some schools have licensed vocational nurses, only registered nurses have the training to make medical assessments and create health plans for their patients. The problem is, even in districts with RNs, they're often spread too thin.
The National Association of School Nurses and California School Nurses Organization have been recommending a school nurse to student ratio of 750 students per school nurse. Most school nurses have about 2,000 to 3,000 caseload. I know a nurse that she's the only RN in a district of 9,000 students.
Sherry Vitale covers 3 schools each day, driving distances of 30 miles or more between her preschools, elementary, and high schools. Her inability to be in 3 places at once is a problem.
When you're covering 3 schools, you're never at one of those schools every day. And you can't predict when a medical problem is going to arise. You can't say when someone's going to have a seizure, and it might be the first time ever. If it was my child, I'd rather there be a nurse there than a teacher or teacher's aide or the playground supervisor.
While Sherry keeps a calm demeanor on the surface,
I hope you feel better.
underneath, she's hypervigilant, looking for situations that can escalate quickly. Case in point, Elena Banks, age 6.
I was outside and I went to the teacher and I said my tummy hurts, and then she brought me to the nurse office.
When I asked her to show me, point where her stomach is hurting, she pointed to her upper chest. I got my stethoscope and listened. And her heart rate was about 200 per minute. And I knew, that she needed emergency care.
Sherry called an ambulance and checked Elena's heart rate again, 250 beats per minute and rising. As an experienced urgent care nurse, Sherry applied an ice pack to Elena's nose.
She actually knew some techniques to bring her heart rate down. So before she ever even got into the ambulance, her heart rate was already back to normal.
At the hospital, doctors diagnosed Elena with supraventricular tachycardia. It can happen at random, and if it isn't treated quickly, can lead to cardiac arrest.
The heart chamber's not filling up with blood because the heart's beating so fast.
It was kind of scary because the nurse, he gave me a shot and it went through my hand, and I was really scared if it was gonna bleed a lot.
Despite being shaken up, the Banks family is focusing on the positive and their gratitude that Sherry was there when Elena needed her.
I feel very, very, very blessed because she had a second episode and the nurse was able to contact me, and just knowing and hearing her voice and saying, but it's okay, that helped because she knew what to do.
For Danielle, thoughts turn to the 50% of schools in California that do not have a credentialed school nurse. Many parents are surprised to learn that the problem isn't a shortage of nurses as much as a shortage of positions. While some states mandate at least one nurse for every district, California has no such mandate. Here, it's up to school districts to decide whether to spend staffing money on nurses or prioritize other positions.
Whatever the philosophy is of the school district, the leadership team within the schools, they're the ones that make the determination on whether there's a school nurse and how many school nurses are there. Funding does tend to be one of the bigger issues, I think.
Representatives of school officials say that districts began cutting nursing positions after the passage of Proposition 13 in the 1970s, with even more cutbacks after the recent recession. Today, they say that districts are listening to what their local community wants and making tough decisions with a limited pool of money.
If you are in a community and you have a really high priority on school nurses, or you have a high priority on football, or you have a high priority on music or art, then whatever those priorities are usually find their way into the budgeting process. But one of the things that happens is that the heart of a school is the classroom, and as you create a budget, everything you do in that budget is to support that teacher and that classroom and those students. And so as you move away from the classroom, whether it's in food services, whether it's in transportation, or any other services like school nurses, the farther away we get from the classroom, that's when the more and more cutbacks tended to be made.
All I can do is send out a plea. Please keep school nurses. They're very important. They're very important for every child, not just mine, but for mine in particular, it's a lifesaver. It's such a blessing.
As our population increases, so does the number of health emergencies in schools. The healthscape in California schools is also changing as thousands of children with special medical needs are now mainstreamed.
We're seeing so many more students on ventilators, with tube feedings, with suctioning, with higher needs than the typical student on the playground. And that requires additional care, additional support than anything that's been provided in the past.
Approximately 1 million children in California, as many as 25% in some school districts, have been diagnosed with asthma. About 15,000 have diabetes, which means 45% of our public schools have children who need blood glucose monitoring. And with obesity posing a health threat to entire families, Dominic West is one 8th grader who's making the most of his customized health plan, outlined and monitored by Nurse Sherry every time she visits him at New Hope Elementary School.
My blood pressure was just super high. It's like 100 over 100, something like that, but it's super, super high. But I got it down probably like 20 so far.
Sherry works with Dominic regularly, as well as his family, his teachers, even the lunch lady, to get him out of the red zone.
I heard last week from Keisha that Mom will make like chicken patty and then you put it on the school salad.
Like chicken, and then I'll cut it up in the morning. Then I'll put it on the salad and I'll eat it like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's working. Dominic has lost 40 pounds so far, and Sherry sends him back to class after enrolling him in a local wellness program for teens. Back at Team Charter School, Sherry is conducting a hearing test. Just another one of her regular duties as the school's nurse.
I can't really hear when my teacher says listen.
Hard for you to hear sometimes? Okay, well we're gonna check it out. Do you hear it? No? Do you have any pain in your ears? Really? Which ear is hurting you? That one?
With the health plan in place and a follow-up scheduled,
good job.
Nurse Sherry sends another star patient back to class.
Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. That's cute.
Advocates in California are working to establish an entire network of care for students. The idea is to organize teams of professionals, including psychologists, counselors, and nurses, to create an entire circle of care for kids. But in the meantime, some private healthcare companies are doing all that they can to fill in the gap for students. In Sacramento County, medical care for students has gone mobile. This is Eliquis Health Center's Health on Wheels. It rolls the clinic right up to the school's front doors.
For people that don't have transportation, don't really follow the normal healthcare model of making an appointment and going in, people could just come after school, pick up their children, and then check in and see what can we offer for healthcare.
The San Juan Unified School District partners with Eliquis to fast-track kids into school. Eliquis' medical team helps with prescription refills, basic lab tests, vaccinations, and screenings for vision and hearing. They also do sports physicals, all right here in the parking lot of Encina Preparatory High.
I think it's great. I can either just walk her to the school because they're going to be there for her, I'll take her to the clinic, and I don't have to wait.
As Eliquis eases the strain on students' immediate needs, its role doesn't stop there. This provider works to funnel each new patient into ongoing care, with the goal of keeping each of their young patients in school.
Yes, we're focused on test scores and things like that. If kids are at school, they're learning, test scores are rising, we're producing citizens who are engaged in the community, all of those factors that we want to see.
There are more than 2,000 mobile health clinics nationwide. With 42% of the population they serve under the age of 18, these clinics are making a big impact. It's especially effective at keeping patients out of the emergency room. Each clinic results in 600 fewer visits to the ER each year.
Service dogs provide crucial services to help people with disabilities. Rex is no different. He's a lab retriever helping his owner navigate daily life. His owner just happens to be a school teacher. Together, they're teaching young students lessons of the mind and heart.
Considering that I'm in a wheelchair, I have lived a pretty normal life, I guess you would say. My perspective was, no, life's not over. There's still, you're here for a purpose and you're still here to do something.
At age 17, Darren Pete's life changed suddenly and forever when he broke his neck in a diving accident. To help Darren live a more independent life, he has his service dog, Rex, by his side.
They're with you, 24/7.
Rex, push. Good boy.
Every day that I go to work, I take Rex with me. It's Mr. Pete's and Rex. We go hand in hand, you know. Go, Rex. 2 peas in a pod. I teach at Delldale Elementary School. I teach kindergarten. When I come on in the morning and get everything all set up, if I'm dropping stuff on the ground, he's there to help me out. Rex, step. Come on, you can do it. Up you go. Up you go. Good boy. Good boy. He usually goes to his bed and he's relaxing, just taking it easy until reading time. Rex, here. Good boy. Come on. They love to sit there and just share a book with him. And Rex will just sit there quietly and just listen to them. A dog is a great audience. He really encourages the kids to get a book and read.
Monkey see, monkey do.
For some of them, that's what they need. They just need someone to listen to them and let them practice the reading skills that they have so far.
Look at that. Look at that, Lexi. Monkey up a tree, monkey on the garden.
For some of my kids, that connection you have with animals, you know, really helps them. Sometimes they're just having a bad day and they're really either sad or they're really upset. I will have them go and sit next to Rex and they can pet him for a while until they calm down.
He's so cute and adorable, and I like to read to him. Rex makes me feel good.
Unlike their pet at home, they can't just interact with him all the time. It's always in a structured manner. So when I have the leash and he's hooked up to me, then they know, okay, Mr. Pete's is the pack leader, so we have to not even touch him. And they're really good at that. They learn very quick.
Of course, it's not all work and no play.
Recess time has been a lot of fun with Rex just because he is so excited to be out there with the kids. What I really hope they learn is that not to judge a book by its cover. First word is what? Bog. Quite a few of these kids are first afraid. They're a little shy, a little standoffish. But then pretty soon they understand that I'm just like everyone else. I can't read it. I can't read it all. What up to that? While I'm in a class, I'll definitely have a dog. He's part of the class. And for some of the kids, he's part of their family.
While Darren truly believes that Rex enhances his students' educational and personal experience, at the end of the school day, he's most grateful for having a service dog in his own life, as well as a companion.
Come on, Rex. Come on, yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm astonished by how much they do for you. They have been trained so well, and their personality is such that it's, how can I help you? What can I do for you? I'm here for you, no matter what.
It typically takes 1 to 2 years to train a service dog, depending on the complexities of the task and whether the dog is based in the home or working out in public. Some typical tasks include picking up objects, opening and closing doors, and even pulling manual wheelchairs.
Let's take you to the Southern California city of Downey, where there's been a remarkable drop in suspensions over the past decade. School officials credit a philosophy called character counts, which permeates every aspect of school, from discipline to academics and even sports. It's all about teaching students how to act with respect, even when they're under pressure. Around the public schools of Downey, people will swear you can notice the difference in the classrooms, at athletic contests, and in the hallways of Warren High School.
I came with another school site, and we walked and we noticed right away, what's going on at the school? The kids are different in the classrooms, the kids are different in the hallways. Things are different.
They will ask each other, are you being respectful right now? Are you being responsible? They will call each other out, which is absolutely wonderful.
And they all say the same thing, our kids are amazing. I can't believe how good our kids are. I've been in a lot of schools where all kids are good, but wow, these kids are great.
It's part of our DNA in Downey. It's been institutionalized.
That building block in Downey's DNA is an initiative called Character Counts. A creation of the Josephson Institute of Ethics, the program weaves teaching behavioral ideals into the curriculum of the modern classroom. It's been an everyday element in Downey's 19 schools for a dozen years.
It focuses on the framework of 6 pillars. And the 6 pillars are trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. And in any language, those are concepts we can agree upon.
The signs are everywhere, inside and outside the classrooms. For teachers and administrators here at Unsworth Elementary School, those 6 principles provide the language for addressing matters of both discipline and high ideals.
When the kids come and talk to me, it's not like I even have to remind them about the 6 pillars of character. They know what they are and the importance of them.
Teachers at Unsworth are always on the lookout for good behavior.
The students are caught being good in one of our pillars, they're given one of these tickets.
When we get the terrific tickets, it's either when we're doing something good at recess, like helping or playing like someone that doesn't have no one to play with, picking up trash at recess when no one tells you to do it.
All right, that's cool.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Dr. Robert Jagielski has 25 years under his belt in Downey schools. Now a principal and the Character Counts liaison for the entire district, he remembers different times.
We were pretty much the king of expulsion referrals. It doesn't mean we kicked out kids entirely, but kids who maybe brought something to school that shouldn't be there were referred for expulsion.
The Downey School Board and superintendent launched Character Counts in an attempt to fix behavioral problems in the district.
When I first heard about it, it was, as an administrator, it was, oh God, here's something else that we have to do. And at the time, I still thought it was pretty much a parental responsibility as far as character education of the student. There were a lot of issues, behavioral issues at schools. We were having the fights and the drugs and just bad behavior. But what I've seen is each year, students are getting better. Each year, discipline is getting better. Expulsions are almost to 0 now. Suspensions are way, way down. It's not the same school as 12 years ago. The kids are not the same.
Back in the 2005-2006 school year, Downey schools had more than 6,000 suspension days. That number has plummeted by 75% in the years since Character Counts was implemented. There were only about 1,600 suspension days in the 2014-2015 school year.
When I came here during high school, my freshman year, I definitely saw a difference, in the kids and the morale and how they are. Having that Character Counts program, you really get that respect and that friendliness that you don't get anywhere else.
A member of the varsity basketball team, Brian says character training helps keep competition in perspective.
It's about team, it's not about the opponent. So whenever things get rough, when things get violent in a way, we always show that respect, show that character that really shows that you're a good person and it matters to you.
Athletic Director Russ Heike oversees 92 coaches and 1,200 student athletes. In their world, Character Counts brings discipline when passions spike among rivals.
That's what I love, the consistency that it gives us. The frameworks give us quite a consistency when it comes to dealing with, things that happen in athletics.
It really is a universal language, and it can work with a kid who's already doing well and those kind of things, but also a kid who's maybe struggling.
Superintendent John Garcia and others credit Character Counts with helping to push the city's high school graduation rates well above 90%, more than 10 points above the state average. And what's good for the kids is also good for Downey's adults, right up to the city council and Mayor Fernando Vasquez.
In 2010, our city elected to become a supporter and endorser of Character Counts. So whether it's upstairs at the city council chambers, whether it's down here with the pillars of Character Counts throughout this wall, it's a constant reinforcement of the importance of Character Counts.
It's amazing what's happened over the last decade here in Downey. We all continually in this world know that having strong character and having an ethical foundation is an incredibly important part of being a successful adult. And so I think we're probably, my guess would be we're going to stay the course for quite some time with this.
That's going to do it for this edition of Inside California Education. If you'd like more information about the program, just log on to our website, insidecaled.org. We have video from all of our shows, and you can connect with us on social media as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Inside California Education.
Look at that, Roxanne. He's so cute and adorable, and I like to read to him.
I can't read it. I can't read it all. What up that?
Oh, what's this Band-Aid from?
That's a Band-Aid because I got a paper cut.
Oh.
Going back to the North Pole.
I will be a good citizen and always do my share.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.